Data decides the bulls. Crew, let's ranch it up. Good day, everyone, and thanks for riding with us on this all-new episode of the Ranch It Up Radio Show. I'm Jeff Tigger Erhardt.
And I'm Rebecca Wanner, AKA BEC.
A big thank you goes out to our partners, ranchchannel.com. We're going to talk a little bit more about the upcoming sales this next week here in just a little bit. The Dry Creek Ranch, Keller Broken Heart Ranch, CK Bar Ranch, Jorgensen Land and Cattle, Transova Genetics, Axiota Animal Health, bringing us Multi-Men and Lactipro, the American Gelbvieh Association, Imogene Ingredients, bringing us Farmatan, Westway Feed Products, Medora Boot and Western Wear, Allied Genetic Resources and Allied Feeding Partners, LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, AuctionTime.com, the Tri-State Livestock News, RFD TV, Wrangler, and this fine radio station. Cow Country News, you know, the cow stuff.
Our top news story, according to Meeting Place, the Ranchers Cattlemen Action Legal Fund United Stock Growers of America, or RCAF, CEO Bill Bullard encouraged ranchers and cattlemen to reach out to President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE, to request the agency audit the USDA's Beef Checkoff program. Bullard said that we've long argued that the Beef Checkoff program, which is a USDA program that requires cattle producers to pay $1 for every head of cattle they sell, and it collects about $70 million each year, which he says much of that comes from producers who do not support the mandatory government program. He went on to say that while the Beef Checkoff program is supposed to fund education, promotion, and research for beef and not fund lobbying, evidence of abuse has surfaced, and an independent audit report found that $216,000 of mandatory producer contributions has been misspent. The Beef Checkoff has strong cattle producer support, according to the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, NCBA, and undergoes annual audits and posts that information on their website. NCBA Vice President of Government Affairs, Ethan Lane, told Meeting Place that the Beef Checkoff is an example of individual farmers and ranchers coming together to create a program that conducts research, educates consumers, and builds demand for beef with a return on investment to producers of $13.41 for every $1 invested, all while operating with annual financial audits, strict oversight, and at no cost to American taxpayers. RCAF is a nonprofit organization serving as a voice for independent cow, calf, and sheep producers and feeders across America. NCBA is a nonprofit trade association representing U.S. cattle producers. DOGE is a temporary contracted organization under the United States Digital Service, which has asked the public to contact the organization with ideas for reducing waste, fraud, and abuse. Next, a temporary suspension of imports of Mexican cattle into the United States is ending, according to several reports. The Mexican agricultural minister said that the USDA's Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, or APHIS, signed the first memorandums to allow the suspension to be lifted. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association, NCBA, thanked the Trump administration and USDA for working swiftly to protect the U.S. cattle supply from the threat of New World screwworm, which sparked the import suspension late last year. APHIS has developed a comprehensive protocol that involves layers of veterinary inspections and treatment to prevent the spread of screwworm and other types of ticks and insects.
And now the ranchchannel.com sale calendar going on as we speak. Lucky 7 Angus in Riverton, Wyoming. Also today, the Dry Creek Ranch Private Treaty Red Angus sale in Amadon, North Dakota. Wednesday, March 5th, Marmac Farms Red Angus Angus and Simmental in Brandon, Manitoba. Also on Wednesday in Firesteel, South Dakota, Peterson Broken Heart Ranch annual Red Angus production sale. On Thursday, March 6th, Keller Broken Heart Ranch annual Simmental and Sim Angus production sale selling bulls and heifers at the ranch in Mandan, North Dakota. On Friday, Iacker Simmentals and JK Angus hosting their annual bull and heifer sale at the Iacker Ranch in Salem, South Dakota. And on Saturday, March 8th in Mandan, North Dakota, Fast, Dorman, and Strumman annual Angus bull and heifer sale. Coming up, data decides the bulls, the Ranch It Up radio show. We'll be right back.
Should I sell heifers or keep some as replacements? That is a tough question looking at the prices that these feeder heifers are bringing. Consider upgrading your cow herd, all while providing that extra shot of heterosis. Look no further than Gelbvieh and Balancer Genetics. Discover the cow power with Gelbvieh and Balancer. Gelbvieh and Balancer. Smart, reliable, profitable. Gelbvieh.org.
Nutrition does not need to be difficult or overwhelming or complicated at all. Keep things simple with Westway feed products. Cow-calf, dairy, feedlots, equine, and custom if you need. You can count on Westway. WestwayFeed.com.
Real World Genetics from CK Bar Ranch. The CK Bar Ranch 24th Annual Bull Sale, Friday, April 4th at St. Onge Livestock in St. Onge, South Dakota.
Featuring 50 profit-driven Simmental and Sim Angus yearling bulls, genetically enhanced EPDs, free delivery with many Homo Black and Homo Polled bulls. Bid and buy online at DV Auction with videos, catalogs, and sale information available at ckbarranch.com and ranchchannel.com.
The CK Bar Ranch, April 4th in St. Onge, South Dakota.
RanchChannel.com, bull sales, western events, product information right at your fingertips on the ultimate cowboy-friendly platform. Want to follow up-to-date markets? RanchChannel.com. No need to dig for information on all these different websites. It's all right there on RanchChannel.com.
At Allied Genetic Resources, it's all about commercial customer success.
We see that charge, we understand that charge, and we're going to use all the tools we can to get there.
To maximize heterosis, purchase your next herd sire from an Allied Genetic Resources partner. Just head to AlliedGeneticResources.com. Cattle Battle. Welcome back to the Ranch It Up Radio Show, the most information packed into a 30-minute program that you can find. It's your All Things Ranching newscast, and so glad to be hanging out with each and every one of you. Questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, rants, it doesn't matter. You can give us a text or a phone call. That number is 707-726-2420. You can email us, ranchitupshow@gmail.com, prowling around social media at Ranch It Up Show, using the numbers in the data to raise good, well, not just good, but great bulls. That is the name of the game when it comes to seed stock producers. Let's travel to western North Dakota one more time and home to Keller Broken Heart Ranch. Their production sale is coming up next week, Thursday, March 6th, by the way, selling 120 Simmental and Sim Angus bulls and 80 heifers. Now, Luke Keller has been on the program with us before, and we've talked the bulls and the cow herd, but today we dive into the numbers so much more than we ever have, because at the Keller Broken Heart Ranch, it is years of data using the latest technology, retaining ownership of steers, for example, gathering all of this information to make the best mating decisions on a per-cow basis to ultimately and hopefully produce the best offspring that they can. Now, we have talked programs like Right Mate and Right Choice through Allied Genetic Resources before, if that rings a bell, and they play a large role in breeding decisions and ultimately customer buying decisions. Hey, Luke, welcome back. Glad to hear the weather is warming up for y'all just a little bit. Let's talk the use of data to provide the best possible bulls and heifers for your customers.
We do lean on data a lot, and it's not the only thing. It's very helpful. We've been finishing our steers out for, I think this is our 10th year. Yeah, it'll be our 10th group that we've retained ownership on and finished. And when I really started tracking the results of that several years ago, what we saw was the highest correlation to the profitability of the individual steers in that pen was what their all-purpose index and terminal indexes were. They were the most profitable steers, and we kind of started tracking that, and I started kind of analyzing it more and more, and we'd get to break it down by retail carcass value per day of age and doing things like that, just tracking what really is driving commercial feedlot profitability. And really the closest correlation of anything, of any of these numbers, are the two profit indexes. And it makes sense. The indexes are are designed to measure profitability. That's why they're called profit indexes. At that stage, we knew we needed to really pay attention to those numbers. If we wanted to have a positive impact on our bull customers' profitability, we knew that those numbers would be the biggest factor in their profitability as well. So we really pay attention to that. But like you said, when it comes down to mating these cows and using a tool like Right Mate, it's really great the way that Dr. Mahdi Sachi presents you the information back. He just ranks them in a list, first to last of bulls that are potentially good matings for an individual cow. And so what I'll do is I'll just start at the top of the list, and I might not use the first bull, but I'll go down the list until I find the first bull that I say, hey, this mating makes sense, not only based off of the DNA that Mahdi saw, but also based off of what I know about the cow physically, what I know about this bull physically. They mate together well, or I think they mate together well based on what I know about their phenotypes and how they look in person. Plus, the data is saying that they mate together well based off of their DNA. So that's kind of how we use a tool like Right Mate, trying to make these cows click to optimize as much genetic advancement as we can get in each calf. And then the right choice, it's basically just giving our bull customers indication of breaking the bulls down as far as, is this a more genetically profitable animal? It'll just get the straight G plus label. Is it more of a growth version of that? It will get the ATM, or if it's more of a calving ease option, they'll give it the ACE, and that's all based off of kind of a DNA analysis of that bull.
Luke, those in the commercial cow-calf business, generally speaking now, don't have the amount of data that you have on your cow herd. Now, that is slowly changing, though, through the use of genomics, but for the most part, I think it's safe to say that statement is true. You're using specific scientifically proven statistics and procedures to choose matings, while the commercial guy is just using a lot of history of that particular cow and trying to maximize as many pounds produced as they can with the selection of particular bulls. So other than using data to produce bulls, and heifers too, by the way, how are you working with commercial producers to aid in, I'm going to say, proper bull selection?
A good example would be if you buy, say you run 10 bulls. You've been buying the bulls from us every year. What I would do is a bull customer actually called me with this scenario. Hey, could you help me put together some information, at least on the bulls, that are the sires of my calves? And so what I did is I said, okay, out of these 10 bulls, they average top 10% marbling, top 20% by. Their terminal index as a group of bulls is top 2%, and 4 of the 10 are ATM bulls, or something like that. I think that's hopefully something that I think as an industry as a whole we'll start seeing more of and getting better at, because you're right, the commercial guy needs to probably do more to capture the rewards for buying good bulls. Mm-hmm. And I think at this point that really the reward for the most part that the industry has had is that the same feeder just keeps buying the calves year after year, and that's kind of how it works, but if we want to kind of I think do a little more, I think that's a way to go about it, is to kind of keep track of it, at least what the bull side is. And as time goes on, if you start to, hey, I've been keeping some records, my cows now are all sired out of your bulls too, maybe we can get a little bit of data put together as far as what these cows look like, the sires of the cows plus the sires of the calves, and offer a little more information to the buyer that way. I think there's definitely a lot of opportunity for that. I think down the road too, if you're buying a certain kind of bull at the for many years, I would not be afraid to own my own calves. We found with our steers, I mean, the grid premiums we've been getting the last 3-4 years, I mean, it's consistently worth it to own our own steers. You know, they're worth $150 a head more just based off of that grid. And they're, I mean, that's how you make money in good markets and when the market turns.
Those people that follow the Simmental and Sim-Angus breed in business know that the KBHR prefix precedes many of the top performing cattle. You have had tremendous success in the breed on various levels, both on the production side at Keller Broken Heart Ranch with your family, and you have also worked on the marketing side with the American Simmental Association, so you have seen many sales and many trends over the years. Now, with that said, give me that 30,000-foot view of how and why sales have been lately, meaning over the past few years, averages on these sales have been awfully darn good.
One thing I guess that I've kind of seeing is that there is getting to be probably more concentration as far as the number of bulls per sale than there was like even 10, 15 years ago. You know, there's more large bull providers and they tend to kind of seem to grow every year. And as far as the prices go, I know Russ Danielson, you know very well, as well, my professor at NDSU, when I remember sitting in ANSI 114 and he's telling us about, you know, how much you should spend for a bull. And Russ said, well, you should take your 5 best steers and that's what you should spend on your bull that year. And I guess the way that the cattle market is this year, your 5 best steers is going to be a $10,000 bull.
There you go. Exactly.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So, Luke, as we land this thing, your sale is coming up next week, Thursday, March 6th at the ranch south of Mandan, North Dakota. 120 black and red Simmental and Sim-Angus bulls, maybe a few more red bulls than you have had in the past. Many of the bulls that are selling are homo-polled and homo-black. I know that you ultrasounded all of the bulls, your replacement heifers and heifers in the sale. Index levels are as high as they have ever been. So just give us a few highlights per se of the sale offering.
Pretty excited this year. I think our lot 1 bull is a bull that is going to really have an impact for many years to come. He's that kind of bull. He's physically, I think, as good as anything we've raised, and number wise, he's right now, I think, the highest terminal index bull in the database, and he's about to get a lot better after his ultrasound gets included, because he ended up being our number 1 IMF bull too. So it's not that's pretty rare that happens, but he really, I guess you got to get lucky in this business sometimes, and we were very lucky and fortunate to have him.
Hey, Luke, thank you so much for the time. You can find all the information about the bulls and heifers that are for sale at their production sale, including videos, catalogs, contact information, directions to the ranch, etc. You name it, at ranchchannel.com, and you can bid and buy online at dvauction.com. Thursday, March 6th, a significant date in history. It may be someone's birthday. Just saying. It's coming up Thursday, March 6th, next week. Check it out on ranchchannel.com. Crew, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we talk numbers, more cattle sales, and a lot more of the cow stuff right here at the Ranch It Up Radio Show. Go nowhere and keep it locked. Attention cattle producers. Boost your herd's trace mineral status with Axiota Animal Health's Multi-Min 9D. This injectable solution delivers essential trace minerals known to support cattle health and reproduction. Don't settle for less when it comes to your herd health. Trust Axiota Animal Health to keep your cattle in prime condition. Visit your local supplier or veterinarian to learn more about Multi-Min 90. Multi-Min 90, because healthy cattle mean a healthy bottom line.
We run a lot of high milk-producing mama cows in our herd.
Mitch Kenobi of Norfolk dealt with scours in his herd.
So bad that we sent samples off to South Dakota State and Kansas State. Heard about Farmatan. As a producer, I know it's our job to limit our inputs, but when it comes to Farmatan, Dad and I don't blink an eye. It is a must for every calving season.
Adding Farmatan to your livestock's nutrition this fall will rid your new herd of scours in the spring. Go to FarmatanUSA.com.
LivestockMarket.com offers all the tools you need for a successful production sale. The easy-to-use online platform makes it super easy to take bids from anywhere in the world. Buyers can place pre-bids and real-time bids, browse your sales catalog, and watch your sale broadcast live. LivestockMarket.com is also the ideal platform for private treaty sales and timed online-only auctions. There's no easier way to find buyers for cattle, horses, sheep, and hay. Sell on your terms today with LivestockMarket.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Ranch It Up radio show. It's that time in the program where we check in with Kirk Donsback, StoneX Financial Incorporated, recapping the markets from last week. Kirk, what's going on? Numbers, what are we looking like other than some seasonably warmer temperatures in your part of the country?
Yeah, Tigger, let's start with that number, 50 degrees. That's quite a change from what we've been seeing. Very welcome change at that.
I know. Amen, brother.
We'll get right into it, Tigger. As of Friday, February 21st, March feeder futures closed the week at $267.85. That's up 77.5 cents on the week. The CME feeder index was up 261 at 278.84. That left the basis at a positive $10.99 versus March. Listeners will note that the basis widened out even more, almost $1 more than it was last week. That's a very wide positive basis. We did have a cattle on feed this week that came in at 99.3% versus 99.2% expected. Placements were 101.7 versus expectations of 102.2, and the market number at 101.4 versus expectations of 102.1. Very neutral or as expected cattle on feed. April live cattle closed the week at 193.90. That's down 60 cents on the week. Cash traded $1.99 in the south and $2 in the north, leaving the 5-area weighted average down $3.23 at $199.61, and the basis versus February futures at positive $1.91, and versus April futures a positive $5.71. Weekly slaughter was 563,000 head. That's up 2,000 head versus last week, and 27,000 head less than the same week last year. Breast weights are still 40 pounds over last year, but with the lower slaughter, our production is still 3.6% behind last year. Choice boxes closed the week at 310.77. That's down 4.53 on the week. The definitely concerning part of this report. To wrap it up, March corn closed the week at 4.90.5. That's down 6 cents on the week. Corn is threatening to break below the uptrend line on increasing acreage numbers and rains in South America.
Hey all, Mark VanZee with LivestockMarket.com. This week I have a fantastic lineup of production sales to tell you about. Monday, March 3rd at 3 o'clock Central Time, Best Value in the Badlands Angus Bull Sale in Watford, North Dakota will sell over 100 registered Angus bulls. Then Tuesday, March 4th at 1 o'clock Central, Mokalon Angus will host their 5th annual production sale in Columbus, Nebraska, featuring 44 yearling Angus bulls, 15 registered yearling heifers, and 10 commercial yearling heifers. Also, Tuesday, March 4th at 1 o'clock Central, Swanson Cattle of Oxford, Nebraska will host their annual production sale, selling 90 Balancer, Angus, Sim Angus, and Red Angus bulls, 20 bred females, and 10 open heifers. Then Friday, March 7th at 1 o'clock Central Time, Sandmeyer Charolais of Bodell, South Dakota will host their 44th annual sale, selling 59 registered Charolais bulls. Also Friday, March 7th at 1 o'clock Mountain Time, Reminisce Angus of Dillon, Montana will host their annual bull sale. Reminisce bulls are born and raised at altitudes over 7,000 feet. You can view and bid all these sales and more at LivestockMarket.com. Do you have a production sale coming up? Learn more about Livestock Market's easy and affordable online bidding services by visiting LivestockMarket.com or give us a call at 844-775-4762 today.
Ever wondered what the future of ranching and beef is? The team at Breeder is sure working to make it an exciting one for ranchers. Hey, I'm Shaye Wanner, and I host the Casual Cattle Conversations podcast. I visited with Ian and Susie Wheel about how their company is making it easier than ever to track individual animal performance and profitability for commercial cattlemen, all while connecting them to collaborative supply chains, if they wish. Here's a small portion of our conversation.
There's also a real story about consistency. One of the things that we talk about a lot is how the bottom 20% of your herd will be eating the profit from the top 20% of your herd. So your bottom performers are really doing you a disservice, and part of the low-hanging fruit is just identifying which are the cows that are not serving you, which are the sires that perhaps you wouldn't want to be using again, and just taking those out of your herd, and then that can lift everything up, radically.
Listen to the full story by searching for Casual Cattle Conversations on your favorite podcast player. Happy ranching, folks.
And before we say fare thee well, we want to give a big old tip of the hat to all of you that are, yes, you're in the midst of calving. Hopefully now with March 1st, we're only 20-some days away from spring, so hope is around the corner.
And now that is going to wrap it up for today. A big thanks from our crew to yours. Luke Keller with the Keller Broken Heart Ranch, Kirk Donsback, StoneX Financial Incorporated, Mark VanZee with LivestockMarket.com, Shaye Wanner with Casual Cattle Conversations, and the boss lady, Rebecca Wanner, AKA BEC.
A big thank you to our partners, RanchChannel.com. Be sure to check out the new listings and the sale reports there. Dry Creek Ranch, Keller Broken Heart Ranch, Jorgensen Land and Cattle, CK Bar Ranch, Transova Genetics, Axiota Animal Health, bringing us Multimin and Lactopro, the American Gelbvieh Association, Imogene Ingredients, Farmatan, Westway Feed Products, Medora Boot and Western Wear, Allied Genetic Resources, Allied Feeding Partners, LivestockMarket.com, EquineMarket.com, AuctionTime.com, the Tri-State Livestock News, RFD TV, Wrangler, and this fine radio station.
And crew, so glad y'all came with us one more time as we ranch it up. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook at Ranch It Up Show. Our email is ranchitupshow@gmail.com. You can call and you can text 24/7. That phone number is 707-726-2420. Spread the good word and join us again next week where it's always Tigger and Beck approved.
Stay ranchy and ranch it up.